For every economy that aspires to become a developed and strategic one, the real estate sector plays a critical role. And this was the core focus for the Real Estate Unite 2014 Summit that opened in Lagos. This edition for 2014 had as its theme Igniting the F.I.R.E, focusing on 4 key areas: finance, infrastructure, Red-Tapism and education. 4 areas that need to be unlocked and fully explored to turn this sector to a landscape and a key sector to the economy. In her welcoming remarks, the host of the conference and the CEO of 3Invest, Ruth Obih, described this as a platform for players, both in the public and private sector, to discuss and brainstorm on ways to move this sector forward, considering the fact that Nigeria has a deficit about 17 million in the housing sector, and there is a great opportunity for this sector to be fully harnessed.
Real Estate Unite is an annual summit designed to drive sustainable growth and shared prosperity in Nigeria's real estate industry. We believe that Africa's largest economy has a strong role to play in making real estate a major contributor to national GDPs across the continent. Thus, the event brings together global experts to uncover untapped opportunities within the industry. After 2 years of organizing this summit, we have identified 4 major factors constituting either to the industry growth or stagnation: finance, infrastructure, Red-Tapism, and education. These factors form this year's theme, Igniting the F.I.R.E, where lies the key, with F.I.R.E being the acronym. This year, we are going to explore this theme in detail and come up with actionable results to propel the industry forward.
The Lagos State Governor, Babatunde Raji Fashola, who opened the conference, described this summit as critical considering the fact that there are 3 issues affecting housing in Nigeria: corruption, unemployment, and the issues of lack of productivity.
I'd like to start from what I think was the purpose and the objective, because we didn't just wake up and decide to start building houses. There was something else that lay beneath. There was a deeper problem that we wanted to solve. And those problems, for me, were socioeconomic problems. Problems like corruption, and I will tie them in, I hope. Lack of productivity in the economy, and again I will try and make the connection, and unemployment. These were the problems that we saw were very, very inexorably connected with the housing or lack of it. So, let's deal with corruption. When a society pretends that all is well, where people are asked to put forward 2 years' rent, when they are paid, and 2 years' rent in advance, when they are paid monthly wages in arrears, something is wrong. And if we are all comfortable with it, then something is also wrong with us. Because it just doesn't match. And you know what? Day after day, week after week, these things are done. So the money is put up. And nobody seems to be concerned that where is the money coming from? And in the event, we all pay for it. Trust me, everybody pays for that system that asks you to bring in advance, in multiples of 24 months, what you earn in arrears on a monthly basis.
He also used the opportunity to speak on the LagosHoms project, which is described as a pace setter in terms of housing and urban projects.
So what we've done in the LagosHoms initiative was to say that, look, we will try to build and deliver at cost recovery. because sustainability is critical, and sustainability is tied to the ability to recover. So if you build a house for 10 naira and you keep selling at 5 naira, at some point in time you will lose all your capital. Very simple economics.
Mr. Tony Ayere, Chairman of the National Mortgage Refinance Company, and Ms. Ruth Obih speak further on the conference and expectations and what it will bring to the real estate sector.
In NMRC sponsoring a law, to be passed by states, the idea is that we're now looking at also addressing issues of red tape. So for instance, we're used to have somebody have to go for consent for the title and then come back and go for consent for the mortgage. What we've done is to actually collapse that process into one under the law. To allow one process give you two consents. That is to then soften it. Secondly, what we've also tried to do is to reduce the cost of perfection, both mortgage and even have one cost for both. Okay, those are the sort of things that would help us to reduce the red tape that we have right now in terms of time, in terms of bureaucracy. We've now done it in such a way now that every state must have a mortgage board, and the mortgage board must then set up a registrar, and the registrar will be responsible, for actually processing properties that were bought using mortgages. The registrar would be a lot more digitalized, all right, such that basically you can now expect to see a much faster, you heard what the governor was talking about, electronic sign, all that sort of stuff. Move it in such a way that basically, getting your title is actually totally under one shot.
I think the issue with mortgage, to me, it's just, like I say, it goes back to the legal system, the land use act. And the reason why mortgage hasn't worked is because of the foreclosure law on the money that makes it not able for you to foreclose when you don't own the property. And I mean, if there's a little bit of reform in that law, that would help the mortgage system. And of course, the securitizations and the refinancing from the Nigerian Mortgage Finance Company and what LagosHoms is also doing, so commendable. And I think there's a very, very, bright hope, for the housing finance sector in Nigeria.
As we see that 4 issues, finance, infrastructure, Red-Tapism and education, have become critical to the housing and real estate sector, it is expected at the end of this summit, a communique and a common point will be agreed upon that will chart the pathway for the development of this sector, which will, for the overall, bring vital transformation to Nigeria.